Look at that. We're back to our roots. Hey everybody, Pete Nelson here. I'm in Trempealeau, Wisconsin, and I came up to the top of this garage roof because I want to show you this treehouse that we just finished. It's kind of a river shack style hang for parents of 3 young children. So when they tuck their kids in, they come out to their own little grown-up treehouse. And I'm going to show it to you right now. Are you ready? I'm going to come over here and I'm going to go ba-ba-da-ba-ba-ba, ta-da! Look at that. We're back to our roots. This is your old school treehouse. It's just a place to hang out. We've got kind of a little river theme to it, all that weathered barn board. We've got these net railings and big fat rope and authentic old stuff, with the exception of the very important structural foundation, which is what I would like to look at right now with you. Come with me. Okay, so this is a beautiful elm tree, mature, beautiful, big, I mean, good size. I think it's about 4 feet through down at breast height. So you'll see that we've got 2 big beams, boom, like my arm sticking out, if I'm the elm tree, like so. And then the tab, the Treehouse Attachment bolt, standard limb right there. The other beam on the other side has a standard tab, Treehouse Attachment bolt, with this other strut that goes down below. Now, that connection there is dynamic. In other words, that tree limb, when it moves in the wind, which it will do here, we've got a dynamic connection that puts that tab to the beam. Here, we're a little more centered. You can sort of see how the tree and its big fatness, we're kind of in the center of the tree. So we've chosen this to be the static connection. In other words, the beam is statically connected to the tab. There's a big old kind of horseshoe almost, heavy duty steel that's connecting the beam to the tab itself. As wonderful as this tree is in its scale, this beautiful river shack treehouse is big enough where this tree can't do it by itself. So we have created sort of a hybrid where we've got posts holding up the other end of the beam. So bam, 6 by 6. Here, I'll show you. I step right out onto it because it is that strong. I mean, I want to try to move it. No, there's no moving it. It's heavy duty, which is what it needs to be, because tree houses end up weighing more than you think. If I were to guess, well, you have to see the tree house first. I mean, it's maybe 25,000 pounds on its own, but we're in Wisconsin, so imagine you have 4 feet of snow, and then you have some kind of a winter solstice party, and you have 65 people up there. You might have 45,000 pounds on here. So, in that case, you better darn well have a good support system, which we have here. You want to go up, see what's inside? Let's do it.
Okay, so the first thing I want to talk about are the materials that we used in this space. And I think the place to start is looking at the rug. So the rug obviously has colors of red and navy and green and cream in there. And what we've done is we've basically incorporated those same colors in subtle ways throughout the space. So you see them manifest in the pillows, the fridge, in the cushions, the green of the shelf. You see it kind of splattered in little ways all throughout the space, and it makes it feel more cohesive and more well thought out. I know I always talk about form meets function, but seriously, form meets function with this shelf, right? Because we're in a riverside shack. Obviously, there is a lot of reference to fishing, boating, all things riverside. And this is shaped like a boat. I think it's a canoe. Pete says it's a boat. And it also functions as a shelf, obviously, which is awesome for this space because it's so limited. So having some place where we could actually put glasses and beer steins so that we have storage, but also it adds to the aesthetic.
So, okay, the connections for the eagle's nest are obscured by this roof, but this is kind of fun to show you too, because these stems that are all now broken into smaller bits of the elm tree, you can imagine up at 20 feet, they move around when it's really windy. So you'll see in the roof here that we framed, it accommodates that kind of movement from the wind. So all these openings, a good 3 to 5 inches. Now behind here is the eagle's nest, and the eagle's nest creates its own issues structurally because, again, of the movement of the trees and the wind. So we want to be darn sure that when you're high up in the tree, whatever you're creating has the ability to withstand all kinds of movement. So I'll show you how we did it here. Come on. So this is a crow's nest. You know, originally, of course, a crow's nest is just what it sounds like, a crow's nest, but nautically speaking, a crow's nest was where you would climb up the mast of an old sailing ship and look for land. Land ho! But this crow's nest is a treehouse crow's nest that's sizable. So we're calling it the eagle's nest. And I just want to point out that this is the tree that is connected statically to the two beams. We've got to be about 30 feet in the air here. So I just want to impart to those thinking about building a treehouse that when you're this high, your foundation, your platform has got to be flexible. So when we move over to this side of the treehouse, where the beams are connected here and here, these connections are dynamic. So when the wind's really blowing, these trees are moving. That's what you've got to remember. Trees grow and trees move in the wind. And if you keep those two things in mind, whatever you create will probably withstand what nature sends its way. So thank you for coming to the Behind the Build today. Thanks for coming out.